Zeno in North Carolina says, I want to prove God with scientific evidence. I love it. I love it. You are on with Jenna and Jim. Zeno, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, that is right, Zeno. I called about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had the same discussion with Matt-Dillante. But Jenna, it looked like you were understanding what I was saying a little bit more than Matt. So I'm really glad that I can speak with you on this. Again,
okay, you might have to refresh my memory.
Yeah, so I came from empiricism. I said to Matt, empiricism. That was basically my epistemology. He said, well, I don't give a fuck about your epistemology. But see, that epistemology is what you have to explain first.
So hold on. Before can we try to not bring Matt into this? Because Matt's not here. He can't. I don't remember what he said, and he can't say anything. Matt. Let's just try to take the concept.
So I was giving
you.
No,
I'm sorry. I was just trying to get a refresher of the concept that we were talking about and try to look at it, examine it again from a different way.
Yeah. Okay. So empiricism is basically my epistemological view of the world, and that is a branch of epistemology. And
what is empiricism?
So empiricism, the theory of knowledge that asserts that knowledge arises from evidence gathered via sense experience. So empiricism emphasizes the role of experience and evidence, especially sensory perception, in the formation of ideas over the notion of innate ideas.
It sounds like you're saying that our senses cannot be fooled. Right. It sounds like you're saying that our senses cannot be fooled.
This is a dictionary.
Okay, so how are you relying?
I'm saying what they're saying.
Right. But
Jim,
it sounds like empiricism is saying that your senses are infallible.
What I'm wondering is it your senses
that determine? I'm telling you what it is.
Is it?
And I'm coming back with a question.
Jenna, I'm sorry, Jenna.
It's okay. I was just wondering, is it your senses that are determining what is real, or is it your senses that are letting you know, or that are interpreting what is real? I'm trying to understand.
Okay, so I can answer that question. I guess can I ask you guys, do you know what empiricism is? Can I get an honest answer from that?
The problem is that so many people use terms in different ways. And so I actually don't off the top of my head know. There's so many terms that I've in this group,
fair. That's fair. So can I ask Jim, does he know what empiricism is?
No, not off the top of my head. But you still haven't answered my question.
Okay. Now I understand why the conversation wasn't getting anywhere, because you guys don't know exactly what it is. So not from the top of my head, the definition of empiricism, which is an epistemological view, is the theory of knowledge that asserts that knowledge arises from evidence gathered via sense experience. Empiricism emphasizes the role of experience and evidence, especially
Hold on, are you reading this?
And I've already answered.
Yes,
I've already asked
this
a question
is the actual
based on
definition.
that.
I'm trying to let
you. But I don't want to know what the definition is.
And I've already asked a question about this.
You have to understand that in order to understand how people arrive to God.
Hold on. Can you please answer Jim's question, and then we can get back to this.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Are the senses infallible? Are the senses infallible?
Yes. Some.
They are.
Okay.
Really? Are you sure about that? Do you want to take a moment to think about all the different ways that your senses can be fooled?
No, what I said is that not in all situations. So yes, we could believe that pixies ruled the earth, right? Because you feel that. That doesn't make it correct, right? But there are also things you can feel that are correct.
I'm talking about senses, not feelings. I'm talking about your senses, because that's what you said. Sensory experience.
Yes.
So can your senses be fooled?
You don't think feelings come from your senses? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm asking, can the senses be fooled? Feelings arise from a wide variety of things.
Yes, we know
can your senses be fooled? Okay, so why is basing anything on your...
Both can't be true? Are you saying both can't be true?
Why are you basing an epistemology on something that is inherently fallible?
Wait, you didn't answer the question. I said that both can be true. So it is true that your senses can fool you. It could also be true that your senses will lead you to the truth. So why
how
are
is
you
that possible? How is that possible?
One-sided.
How are you getting to the truth using a fallible method?
How can something be true and not true?
Simply because I can believe the sky is red when it's really blue, right? So
that's not true unless it's
senses.
actually.
Yeah, but you're believing in something that isn't true.
One could be false and one could be true. Thank you. You've demonstrated that for me. So what I'm saying
is... No,
there's
only one truth. The sky is blue. That is the truth.
Right, but we could have senses tell us that it's red. So that answers your question because you can't.
Your senses are fallible, and basing an epistemology on your senses makes no sense because you're basing your epistemology on a fallible system of determining what the truth is.
But you do this all the time with gravity, so you're at the contradiction.
No, I don't do that all the time.
There are people who can't see anything. Does that mean that nothing exists?
No, that means I can't demonstrate red to you, but you can ask me to demonstrate it, and I can't.
I can demonstrate red to somebody.
I demonstrated my point once again.
I can demonstrate red to someone who cannot see, because I can explain what light waves are, and I can explain the range of what that is.
Okay.
But that is explaining what red is.
Jim.
Red is a color.
Jim, can they experience red? Can they experience it? Yes.
What does that mean?
Can you experience red if you're colorblind?
What does that mean?
What do you mean experience red?
So, what it means is, Jenna, you see red. Hold on. I just want to say this to Jenna. Jenna, you see red. I see red. Okay, if you're colorblind, they've never experienced red. So I can come up to you and Jenna and say, let's give them a histograph. Let's give them a histograph, and we can demonstrate on a spectrum that red does exist. But they will never experience it like you and I, Jenna. They'll never see that red color.
But that doesn't change what red is. That doesn't change what red is, right?
So does that mean that red doesn't exist?
Red.
Does that mean because they can't see
it?
Exactly. Hold on. My question is, does that mean that red doesn't exist?
No, it does exist, and you cannot see it.
Okay.
The
truth of the matter is there is red. Using our senses to determine what red is fallible.
I'm satisfied. Jenna answered it. Thank you, guys.
I'm confused.
How did you answer it?
Xeno, are you still there, or did you hang up? I don't know what he's satisfied with.
I have no idea what he's satisfied with either.
But I'm glad somebody is satisfied.
Yeah, that was a very confusing call, and I have no idea what he was talking about. But basing an epistemology entirely on one's senses is a really, really bad way to come to the truth. There is a red. There is a frequency of light that we define as red, and that is the truth. That some people can perceive it and some people can't, is one thing. If we are in a culture that defines red as angry, we can certainly describe an angry experience or other experiences through red. I think poetry does a wonderful job of in many cases, giving you the experience of a color or a picture or other things in verbal form. So I don't know what he's talking about.
So there's an interesting thing that I've learned about color. I'm fascinated. Mm-hmm. I love color. I'm like obsessed. And what I've learned is that and I could be wrong, but blue is the newest color that we have been able to sense as humans. And that one of the ways that they determined that is that the word blue or the description of things that are blue have never been brought up in books or anything like that. It's just never even been mentioned. Like they'll talk about the green of the grass and the brown of the bird, but they'll never talk about the blue of the ocean or anything like that. So does that mean that blue didn't exist? Or does that mean that we couldn't sense that cluster of vibrations that was being reflected off of the object,
Right. Yeah.
It's apart from us.
Right. And wine, I think, is a really, really good example of how badly your senses can be fooled, because people will describe wine as having a leather and barnyard,
right,
and cherry and chocolate,
cat
pee. It smells like cat pee. Yes. All these sensory experiences that go with wine, and not a single one of those things is in the wine.
Right.
So it's a great example of just how badly your senses can be fooled.
Yeah.
But even like butter, anything that is fermented in oak will have a butter taste to it. Things like that. And oak has no butter in it.
Right.
So where the butter taste comes from confusing our senses. So I don't know how you can base a sound epistemology on sensory input when it is fallible and can change from person to person.
Right.
Your perceptions of blue may not be mine. So.
Right.